Hi, I'm Miss Sally Pride. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to look like a girl for $250 or less. I'm a transgender woman and a drag queen, so I'm a bit of an understanding of how to do this. Now, what exactly do I mean by looking like a girl? Looking like a girl can mean a whole bunch of different things, but here I'm saying this is a stereotypical image of what a girl looks like, at least in Western culture. In this video, we're going to be looking at the feminine side of things. If you are masculine and or androgynous and identify as female, you are still valid. I'm using this title because YouTube Analytics said I should. With that being said, a lot of tips here are going to be focused on those assigned male at birth. These tips can also be used by anyone, regardless of your sex assigned at birth. And not to mention that some of these tips here depend on whether you're out to other people or not and the type of area you live in, whether you have an accepting community around you or not, and whether you're out to that community or not. So that being said, let's get started. So how exactly do you stay within the $250 price range? That is a lot of money. And the thing is, you don't have to do it all at once. You can do this in parts. You can skip certain steps. This is supposed to be an all-encompassing tutorial, and you don't have to follow everything here. This is merely a suggestion, and you can take your time with it. In fact, I encourage people to take their time with this. This is a very expensive thing to do, and it's not something to just blow all your money on right away, unless you can afford to do so. Now, before you put your makeup on, you're probably going to want to shave your face. Get rid of the extra stubble on there if you have it. And one of the ways to do that is with a safety razor. And there are many ways of doing that. You can use shaving cream, but my personal recommendation is to use a moisturizing bar. You lather it up like soap, and you can shave your face that way. It's a lot cheaper than using shaving cream. However, I imagine a lot of you are accustomed to using shaving cream, and that's fine as well. And when you shave your body as well, if you wish to do that, it's the same sort of process. It just takes a little bit while longer. In fact, if you have an electric razor, you might want to go through on your larger body parts first to get that bigger layer out. Because trust me, it will take hours the first time you shave your legs. Now, one of the important parts of taking care of your face is with your eyebrows. That is, if you wish to do that. These are tweezers. You can usually find these at many drugstores or online for about $2. They're really inexpensive, and you just pluck away. It will take some time and it will take some practice. Like all things here, you do not succeed your first time around. That's just the reality of things. With makeup, with your eyebrows, with shaving, with clothing, you're going to make mistakes. And that's just the truth of the matter. But you will get better over time. Just be persistent and practice. There will be people who won't understand what you're going through. And sure, your face will look like a mess for a bit. And your clothes may look a little uncoordinated, but over time you'll get better at this. Don't be discouraged. If it feels good, keep doing it. If it feels good and it's safe to do so, keep on doing it. You'll get there. Now, the thing about anything to do with shaving or tweezing that you need to remember a lot of management, or as I'd like to call management. You just got to be patient. Now, one way to cut costs when you're first starting out is start with generic brands. So this is Wet n Wild lipstick. And there are various parts of my face that I actually use Wet n Wild. In fact, in most of my videos, I actually use Wet n Wild products. They're not a big brand, as you could probably have guessed. In fact, they're sort of a generic brand because they're super cheap. You can buy them at almost any pharmacy, and you can also buy them on Amazon. So if you're still in the closet, you can actually order them online and have them sent to you in a discreet package. And most of the time, stuff like lipstick or other products will end up costing you less than $5 each. Now, that does build up, and you're going to spend close to around $50 on makeup total. If you want to splurge for it all, I'm just going to go over the very basics here. So keep that in mind. Now, foundation comes in liquid form and powder form, and you want to find the ones that match your skin tone. If you're using powder, it's best to use a brush. If you're using liquid like I am here, it's best to use a sponge. And you want to cover up your face. This is the easiest part of the application. And if you're assigned male at birth, I highly recommend taking a little bit extra time just above your lip, because that tends to be the area that shows off the most facial hair. Now, eyeshadow, you typically find that in a powdered form, where you can use a brush to apply that. It takes some practice, but it's one of those skills to develop here. Now, in this case, I'm currently using a multi-purpose stick, which is used as eyeshadow. I tend to use this for drag, as it tends to have a more dramatic color difference, but I also recommend it because they tend to be cheaper and easier to apply if you're a beginner. And as you can see here, you can even roll it up sort of like lipstick and apply out even further. Now for me, I like to do a sort of solid wall there of a solid color that sort of somewhat matches the outfit I'm going for. And remember, just keep on applying that, and you want to have it be somewhat even. This does take some time. I remember the first few times I was doing makeup on myself, it would take me several hours. And drag makeup especially would take a lot longer. But as you do more and more of it, the faster and faster you get. Now this process here does take a little bit while longer because it takes a little bit while longer because I'm not used to doing it on camera, but you can obviously do it and get better and better. Now for most of my drag looks, I usually take maybe 20 minutes total. Now here is an eyeliner pencil, and the one I'm showing off here, you can actually use a stamp. That's good if you're not good with getting the actual shape down. But I'm also going to show how to actually get the actual pattern itself. This is by far the hardest part of applying your makeup. And the way I figure out and it took me a long time, the idea here is you're supposed to get right up against your eyelash there. And you can see I'm even twitching a little bit because even now it's hard for sometimes the eyes to recognize this is not a foreign body here. And you also want to make sure your wings, if you're doing that, are even. Mine weren't, and I had to redo them later, but that's part of the game here. And it takes some time. See, I'm not even perfect on it yet. See, I just made a huge mistake right there. But there's a solution to that. The solution is you put the makeup away for a little second and use a makeup remover. Or in my case, I like to use baby wipes as they are significantly cheaper and you can save a lot more money on them. And as an extra little tip there, remember, baby wipes also come in the generic brands. So that's another way to save even more money. And it's a good idea to just have a bunch of makeup wipes or baby wipes on you at all times, even when you're applying your makeup, because mistakes do happen. And it's good to get through that when they happen. It's okay, just keep your patience and you'll get through it. And on top of that, it's a good idea if you're erasing or if you're using your makeup wipes there to clear out some of the makeup mistakes you've made, to just go over with a little bit more foundation to cover up that mistake. And you can also use a contour palette, as I'm going to show here in a second. And what you do is with your makeup brush, you take the tone that's best for you. Now, you might notice I'm using the Revlon brand here, and that was mainly because this was a gift from a friend. If you're out to people, you'll often start getting gifts from them if they're supportive and can afford it. That's not a guarantee, obviously, but one thing to keep in mind there. And on top of that, this could work for any brand, really. Just find something that is perhaps a little bit lighter than your current skin tone to work under your eyes, and that should cover up under there. And then you're going to use some bronzer. This darkens up various areas of your skin,
Ideally, it's good to use this around the edges of your face to make it look a little smaller, give you that more stereotypical feminine features. Especially around the jawline, if that's something for you. As you can see, the more you do it, you work your way around and you dab there, it will spread its way out. And look at that, the jawline seems to be getting smaller, which if you're assigned male at birth, you might have dysphoria about or an insecurity about. It's a good way of taking care of that. Then you're going to want to take some blush. Again, this is a gift and I've been using it, as you can see, for a while now. So you collect the powder, you dab it, and for blush, what you're going to do is smile. So smile so that your cheeks puff out like this, and you're going to apply right on the cheeks there. And you can see that's going to give you the nice color there. It's going to keep building up. See, even I surprise myself sometimes. It happens. Funny things happen. And speaking of funny things, I forgot to take care of my eyelashes there. So what you do, if you have one of these, this is an eyebrow curler, you don't need to use this. It's just one of those things I like to use. In fact, I didn't even account for this in the budget. I just wanted to show it off. And then here you can use some sort of mascara. And you just simply brush it on like you see there. And remember to shake it off and when you're in the bar there, to pump it up to get the clumps out. And seal it up. Now let's talk about the lips. So this is a trick I learned from the YouTuber Ray Nolly, who also has a video about how to look like a girl. So what I did is I took the lip liner here and draw the outline of your lips, but exaggerate it. It looks a little silly, but don't be too concerned if it looks too silly right now. We're going to fill it in with the lipstick. Now I'm looking around for the lipstick. And so with that, there's a lot of different colors here. And you can order them online or go to your drugstore and get them. They're really cheap. I find Wet n Wild, not only do they pop really well, but not only do they pop really well, but with the colors, but also a lot of these each of these tubes cost me under $2. One of the other types of videos I make on here that I'm working on is how to fight transphobia using Harry Potter, and I use blue lipstick for that since I'm a Ravenclaw. That one cost a little bit more, but it was still about $4, which is a really good deal. Now, looking here, I made a mistake. Now, what do you do when you make a mistake? It's very easy. All you do, you look around for your... you look around a lot because, well, this is not how I usually do makeup. But you look for the wipes, and you wipe it down. And sometimes you try to do it, and you just know you gotta redo it because, well, it's not looking that good. See, I'm trying to clear it off, and take care of it with foundation, but I'm just making it worse. And look, I'm spreading the lipstick everywhere. I know what I need to do. Just clear it off. See? And that's okay. It's frustrating, but it happens. You just clear it off, and you do it again. And always remember, while I'm clearing that off here, just a few extra reminders. Clean your brushes. They can get really gross really easily. And one of the issues that a lot of people have with makeup, including myself, as you're learning, is staying steady with your hands. And that can be a little bit challenging. And one of the ways I recommend doing that, other than just practicing more, is try doing like coloring pages or take up drawing. Because that will help you get more dexterity and precision in your hands and make your makeup a little bit more clearer. Alright, so now that I've cleared that up, and I'm going to do a little bit more foundation on top of that, should be good, and that's how you do makeup.
Now, at an in-person drag show, you're likely to tip your performers. In fact, you should tip your performers. However, since this is an online video and I don't have a Patreon yet, I recommend clicking that like button and subscribing. It really means a lot to this channel. I put a lot of work in these videos. It takes months to put these together. And it would really mean a lot if you liked and subscribed to show me that you like what I do and would like more people to see it. Thank you. Okay, now for your nails, there are a few things you could do. You could opt to go to the nail salon if you feel comfortable doing so. However, and this is just an important note, wear some shorts to the salon. It'll be a lot more comfortable, especially if you're getting your legs done. However, for your hands, if you want to give yourself a manicure at home or a pedicure, the best way to do that is, again, sticking with generic brands. So I like to use Sally Hansen. And it's not just because I'm Sally as well. No, it has to do with the fact that this is incredibly cheap and easy to use. You can buy them almost anywhere, and it's very easy to change your colors as well. So I'm currently wearing the Insta Dry Pink. Again, I'm not sponsored by any of the brands here. So, but yeah, what you do is you start off with your color, if you wish to have a color, and paint them, literally paint them on your hands, feet. Again, this is another skill. You'll get better at it over time. And you let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay? And then once that's done, you're going to want to put on a load of clear. And here's another tip. If you're in the closet and don't want other people, and you want to have the feeling of wearing, if you're in the closet and you want to have nails, but don't want to be outward with your nails, clear is a great way to do that. It'll make your nails a little bit shinier, but without a real color on top of it. It's one way to help you feel a little more feminine in your daily life. Alright, so let's talk about wigs. So, I don't use wigs a lot in my videos, but here's a wig I might use in the future. It's on a wig stand here, so this will keep your wigs in nice condition there. Wigs are great, especially for trans people, if your hair is not, if for trans feminine people, if your hair is not grown out to the length you want yet, or if you just want to try a new hairstyle, that's a great way of doing things. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on wigs. Wigs are really expensive. Some wigs can even go for a few $1,000s. Now, what I recommend is sticking to something more synthetic like this. So this is a synthetic wig that cost me about $12, and the wig stand just about $5. And with that, they usually come with one of these. This is a wig cap. What you do is you put it on over your hair and make your hair as tight as you possibly can. In terms of general wig management, you're going to want to keep it on its stand when you're not using it so that it keeps its shape. If you're traveling though and don't want to wear the wig, remember to keep the net it came with so you can bundle it up and keep it neat. You're going to want to brush it out. You can buy special wig brushes for that, or just use a regular hairbrush. And in terms of cleaning, using a wig shampoo is the best way to go about it. Because even for synthetic hair like this, it can actually strengthen the life of your wigs by a long shot. I remember when I first started the transition, I actually wore a wig for about 6 months because my hair wasn't at a length I felt comfortable with. And it really made a huge difference in my mental health to get that transition started and not wait for my hair to be ready. And if you are going to be doing something for your daily life, I highly recommend getting something in a color that matches your own hair. So like this, I might use this for a character costume later, but I do not recommend using something like this if you have a color similar to mine. Try to stick to something close to your natural hair color. It will make it blend a lot easier and it'll be just a whole bunch of an easier process overall. Okay, so when it comes to tucking,
Alright, just as a little side note here, tucking can cause some fertility issues over time, so keep that in mind.
what you're going to want to do is get yourself a gaff. And surprisingly, this is one of those things you can easily make for yourself. No sewing required. So the way I recommend doing it is get a waistband, like from some boxers or something. Like you probably have some underwear with some worn out waistband anyway. So cut off cut off the bands there, and use a tube sock. Literally cut the end of a tube sock on and slide that on. Now that's going to create a gap. And what you do is you slide it up your legs and you put your testicles up where they were before they descended. Now, it does take a while to find this place, and you're not going to get it the first time. And when you get it in there, it's going to feel a little awkward at first, but over time, it will become easier. There, you're going to want to take your penis and wrap your scrotum around it and pull it back and tuck it behind you.
Alright, so just as another risk evaluation here, remember if something hurts, stop doing it and take a break, and don't do this for extended periods of time.
So if you do not have natural breasts that you would like, you can obviously start with socks. If you're going to go with socks, I recommend going for like a sports bra or a tighter fitting bra. You can measure your chest. So measuring around, that will give you the band number, and then the difference will give you the waist number. The difference at your bust will give you the waist number of what you want. Just remember that what you pack makes a difference here. So you can either start out with that, or you can go online and for a more consistent shape, look for breast forms. Now, those are silicone-based product that resembles the shape of breasts. They're often used by marketed towards cross-dressers, transgender women, and and also marketed towards cisgender women who have had mastectomies. Now, I also recommend. Now, if you're if you're later on in your journey and you've been on hormones, try going for a concave backing so that you have something to fit in. And if you're using breast forms, I highly recommend using an underwire bra. It will help keep them more sturdy in there as well. Now, as for your hips and your butt, there are lots of great hips and butt pads online. If you look on Amazon, they vary from price to price. You might be able to find some on the low ends around $20 and on the higher ends around $40. But really, it all depends on what size you want and how natural you want it to look. Now, as for clothing, what I recommend if you're just starting off, go to Amazon and look at what are your cheapest options. You can sort from low to high. You can go to a thrift store, and if you're out to other people, see if they're going to donate anything or to charity soon, because that will be a good. Most of the time, they'll just give it to you anyway at that point if they're supportive, and you don't have to spend a lot on clothes. One good outfit is enough to get you started. I remember I bought my first dress on Amazon, and it was $10. It's a crappy dress, but it got the job done, and it showed me why I value this so much. Because at the time, I wasn't sure if, being a woman was right for me, but not only trying on the dress and it felt great, but also over time being more socialized as female and getting that experience, it really has made a huge difference in understanding of who I am. And I can't understate how important that is. And for shoes, well, for many of us, we need a bigger size. And surprisingly, one of the better places you can get those is on Amazon. I swear I am not being sponsored by Jeff Bezos. Despite the human labor violations, Amazon's a great service because they allow you to get products to you that are in great packages. You can try them on in your own privacy. And you can even find items like hip pads and stuff like that that you wouldn't normally be able to find in other places. So that's how to look like a girl for $250 or less. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Bye.